Earth is crossing an ocean of mysterious dark matter. Here's how it's impacting our atmosphere. A new theoretical research has made a stunning revelation that the Earth is currently crossing an ocean of dark matter, and this invisible ocean's waves have been slamming against the upper atmosphere of our planet and generating detectable radio waves. As per the research, these detectable radio waves have been finally helping in finding the universe's elusive components. A lot of astrophysical and cosmological evidence, like certain galaxies' inexplicable rotation curves and largest structures' growth in the cosmic space, has pointed towards the dark matter's existence. The attempts made to explain these observations with alternative formulations of gravity have not succeeded. Astronomers currently believe that dark matter is some kind of matter which only rarely interacts with normal matter or light. According to scientists, dark matter is made of massive particles. However, the search for such kinds of particles have not yielded any results. And it's so funny how scientists are so picky and choosy about what theories they will go into. You know, how many times I'm sure as you guys are into, ufology or cryptozoology or alternative science or whatever, how many times have we heard there's no evidence, so we can't talk about that. It's a waste of time of talking about that. There's no evidence. But here they are. Well, I guess it's theoretical physics, and that's like the whole point. But here they are. There's no results, and yet everybody's on board with dark matter being massive particles or whatever. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying that it's interesting to point out when it's acceptable and when it's not acceptable to have zero evidence and it still be a mainstream theory for better or worse. So yeah, that's just a thought. But an alternative, as per the scientists, is that dark matter is exceptionally light and exists as either a form of theoretical particles called axions, or like an exotic form of photon, which carries a bit of mass. And it's interesting that they would use a theoretical particle called axion because that's what the end of the cell of like the brain looks like. That's like a nerve cell ending. So, and if you look at the way that the universe looks compared to the brain, they're almost identical in some ways if you look at certain pictures or whatever. But dark matter, with its incredible lightness, is millions of times lighter in comparison to the lightest known particles and can act in strange ways. The dark matter, instead of looking like individual point-like bullets, will behave more like large waves, which are sloshing around the cosmos. Scientists say dark matter's interaction point is the ionosphere. In a recent study, which is published to the preprint server ArcSiv, the models of ultralight dark matter, which were not entirely dark, were explored by physicists, and they allowed it to interact extremely rarely with normal matter. In the universe, the plasma is being spewed by all stars in the form of stellar wind. The production of radio waves has been explored because of the dark matter interacting with environments like the interstellar medium of the solar corona. Okay, before I read any more, I just have to go back to the sentence. The plasma is being spewed by all the stars in the form of stellar wind. There was a team of Soviet scientists in the early 1900s. I can't say the year because I don't know. I can't remember. I don't know the name of the scientists or the study. And they said that the Earth is going to run into this energy field around this time period. They gave a year, and I'm pretty sure it was like the 2020s, that we were going to encounter this. And does anybody know the name of them or what that's about? If you have any information about that, please send it to me. I know that it's a real thing. I just cannot find the study, the people, anything about it. I can find other things that are similar to it, but nothing about this pair of people or team of people that had said that. So if you know anything similar to that, please email me or comment or something. Reach me somehow to let me know what that's about. So, as well, before I read this, the very end of this, I'll say that, do you guys remember with Art Bell, or any of you that may have read about HAARP, HAARP, whenever it came out, that it was, they were looking at the ionosphere, and they were looking at that for like a whole bunch of different reasons, had so many different uses. But isn't it strange that they're saying that this dark matter interaction point is the ionosphere? What are the chances of that? And that they're detecting radio waves from the ionosphere? Could that be, like, I feel like that could be used as a method of some sort of radio dark matter typewriter type of thing, telegram, Morse code sort of thing, could definitely be used with that. I feel like they probably have better communication methods, but even if there was some sort of strange intelligence out there that we wanted to communicate with, that might be one of the ways to do it. That might, even if it was like non-corporeal or whatever, it doesn't have a physical body here in this universe, but could manipulate energy, perhaps that would be a method that would be worth trying. And maybe they are. Who knows what you would communicate with, though? That's always really risky. Do you want to communicate with what, whatever's on the other side? And that's why I feel like that's why it's important for humans to have more information about all of these different technologies and methods. Because this stuff is happening regardless of whether or not we're involved in it. The only difference is, if we're involved in it, we can actually have a say in what's going on and have a knowledge on what's happening to us, which I believe that we deserve to have. Because what happens if we accidentally talk to something bad? And I don't even mean we as in like the listeners, but let's say it's just some, scientist or government group out there that's trying to communicate with the ionosphere, hypothetically, like I was saying. What happens if they talk to something bad and none of us have any input on what's being said, or the communication, or the trust? How are we getting trust with this sort of thing? I think if we have any sort of relationship, especially with something that's like that foreign to us, we really need to figure out how to even build trust with something like that. I know this is going way off in a tangent, but that's what I was thinking about when I was reading about this whole thing of dark matter going to the ionosphere. And it makes me think of Art Bell, because he talked about HAARP and the ionosphere a lot, especially as a ham radio operator. He was, all about the sun and the Earth's magnetism and energy and EMF type of stuff. It was very intelligent in that regard. And that's something that I struggle with, is the understanding of a lot of these advanced particle physics concepts, which I'm sure everybody does. But I mean, man, it wouldn't be nice to understand it. I feel like even our own scientists are struggling with this sort of stuff. And the last couple articles we've read, basically they were all like, yeah, we don't know about a lot of this stuff. What was the last one we did? The input output of carbon, of quantum. I guess I understood that one a little bit more, but the ocean one, they didn't know anything about that. I guess there was a couple different examples, but in the new research, an interaction point which is very close to Earth has been discovered by scientists, which is our planet's ionosphere. The ionosphere of the Earth is the thin and hot layer of the upper atmosphere. It is filled with a loose collection of ionized particles, which is plasma. In this, the waves are sloshing through it, and researchers have found that those waves can interact with hypothetical dark matter waves, which are said to be washing over Earth. And I don't understand how it's hypothetical if we're detecting radio waves from it. I guess we haven't confirmed that that's what it's from, but it's just kind of strange the way that they worded that. But yeah, it was like a cosmic ocean. It's funny that we went from all of this Earth ocean stuff to the cosmic ocean. And speaking of ocean, we have, I'm pretty sure this is next to the ocean, a beach house. Yeah, beach house at Alligator Point from July 5th, and it was updated July 9th. Local teens rescue 10-person family from July 4th house fire at Alligator Point. After a full day celebrating the 4th of July, Gavin Rowe and his friends returned from watching fireworks to find his neighbor's house on Alligator Point going up in flames. We ran as fast as we could, just had a big fight or flight moment, said Rowe, 18. And they have pictures here. The house is completely destroyed. Around 12:30 a.m. on July 5th, Rowe, with the help of his younger brother, Ashton Rowe, and friends Drew Fleury, Patrick Henning, and George Thomas, started pounding on the windows and doors to get their sleeping neighbors' attention. Within minutes, all 10 people made it safely outside the house before the flames consumed it, and everyone watched in disbelief as the Popple family's beloved vacation home burned to the ground. They were very emotional because they had grown up there and this was their whole life. They kept telling us it's their home away from home. It took 30 to 40 minutes for the local volunteer department to arrive, and by then the house was a lost cause. Firefighters, with the help of neighbors, worked to contain the fire from reaching any neighboring homes. Rudy said that if the winds had been 3 knots more, we could have lost houses to the east. There was about an hour where I was worried we were fixing to lose up to 10 houses on Alligator Point. The Rowe family has been friends with the Popple family for over 35 years. Both families spend summers just 3 houses apart, and the Rowes opened up their doors to the displaced family the night of the fire. 2 cars were spared from the flames, so the family was able to drive back home to Tallahassee the next day. They suspect a brand new lithium-powered golf cart is what caused the fire, though the fire is currently under investigation. Alligator Point became an official golf cart community 2 years ago, and the fire was eye-opening for neighbors. Golf carts played a huge role in this kid's upbringing, Rudy said, and lots of people use them to go back and forth between each other's homes, helping to create the tight-knit community. We have a hybrid with a gas engine. We will not be purchasing lithium for some time. Rudy told his family is taking inventory of what happened and what needs to be done, and they seem to be doing better each day. So I'm just glad God put me there in the moment, because without us being there, I felt like it would have gotten a lot worse, Gavin said. So I was literally about to say the same thing. I'm glad that there's people there to wake up that family. And there's video here that I will link with the article. And yeah, it does look like this golf cart just is in flames. So that's kind of shocking that a golf cart, and it was parked outside. It wasn't even in the garage. So man, that wind must have been bad. So, but here we have the final rescue here. Hero FDNY EMT saves 3 dramatic Coney Island water rescue. Mitch Tarnoplowski is being hailed as a hero for jumping into the water off Coney Island to save the lives of 3 people who were in trouble. The Coney Island beach is a popular spot for New Yorkers looking to beat the sweltering summer heat. But the beaches bring their own dangers, like rip currents that can drag swimmers out to sea. On the evening of July 6th, 2 young brothers, a 14-year-old and 16-year-old, were having trouble in the water off Coney Island. A bystander who jumped into the water to attempt to save them became in the need of assistance as well. EMT Tarnoplowski jumped into action, risking his own life to save the stranded trio. As soon as I get on the radio and tell my dispatchers, I took my shirt off, took my boots off, and jumped into the water and swim about 100 yards out and see him distressed and grabbed him. On the way back, I see his brother also in distress, told the initial brother to grab the other brother and started swimming back. Tarnoplowski formed a human chain so they could all get back to safely to the shoreline. I put one on my hip, and then as I was swimming, I told him to grab his brother and hold him while we were swimming back. Other members of the FDNY Gator unit, who were specially trained to handle water emergencies, quickly arrived on the scene. Without hesitation, jumped into the water and helped me bring them out. Once we got to the shoreline, I went back to the third victim that I was trying to help initially and help him come back to the water. Ternopolowski credits his team with making the daring and daunting rescue possible. FDNY says Gator units are on patrol every day during the season and have longer hours in the weekends. They do not advise swimming at any location where there's no lifeguard. If you do find yourself caught in a riptide, Ternopolowski says, to try to swim parallel to the shoreline. It's extremely important. I'm not sure how many of you guys go swimming in the ocean regularly, but I really love the ocean. We call it the third coast. It's the Gulf Coast down here. Beautiful area where it has areas that are beautiful, and other areas it's completely destroyed by industrialization and pollution and just terrible conditions. But there's a couple of places that are worth visiting. And like he was saying, parallel to the shore. So I've talked about not panicking if you ever are in a bad situation where you're getting sucked out into the ocean. Riptides are basically currents that are sometimes underwater, but they're usually you can see them as well. But they're currents of water. Because think about how a wave comes forward onto the beach, right? Well, the water can't stay there. It has to go back out into the ocean. And it's like a cycle, a churning of a circle. That's how the water cycle works, or partially. So it's like a circle. Well, there will be a current that brings the water back out into the ocean. The water that was just pushed up then gets sucked back out in a different area. And a part of the area is pushing, right? Pushing onto the beach. And then a different area, it's sucking out into the ocean. So if you get caught in that area that's sucking out into the ocean by swimming parallel to the beach, which means alongside it and not trying to swim towards it, that will get you out of this current that's taking you out into the ocean. So a lot of people that are like don't know that, they will realize that they're getting pulled out into the ocean, right? And they see the beach going away from them, and they can feel the water pulling them out. And so they're like, oh gosh, I don't want to go into the ocean. So they start swimming towards the shore, but they're fighting against a river. You're basically swimming upriver, or trying to swim up a river, which doesn't work very well. Even the best athletes cannot swim up a river, hardly. At least some of the ones, especially like an ocean river, where it's massive and super powerful. So by swimming parallel to the seashore, you're swimming out of the current that's dragging you away. But you have to be able to think about that sort of stuff. And if you panic and you just see the shoreline leaving and you start panicking immediately, you might not think to do that. And I also have to point out as well that he was very brave to go out and save a stranded trio, as it says here. That's extremely dangerous. I've mentioned that if you go out and try to save somebody, that they could end up accidentally drowning you by panicking, trying to get out of the water and not thinking. They're just in panic mode, really. Like the lights are on, but nobody's home, type of thing. And it says that somebody went out to try to help them and that they ended up getting in need of assistance. And that's the importance of having the flotation devices, like equipment. If you're going to go out and try to save somebody, you throw something to them. You don't ever want to try to like grab them and put them on your hip like this guy did. That was super brave and super dangerous. And I'm glad that the people were able to stay pretty calm during that whole thing. And this guy's just he is a hero. I mean, that's crazy to go out and do that. But this person that went out to try to save them obviously did not have the right equipment or training to do that. And you have to be trained to know how to deal with the psychology of somebody that's drowning, because they're not thinking right. So like they're like an animal where as soon as you throw something at them, they're gonna like grab onto it, and that's their instinct, is just to grab. So that's what they're gonna do. And I will just end with that there's a lot of free classes in a lot of communities. You'd be surprised if you just type in the name of your county or your city or surrounding city. If you're in a small town, you might have to go to a bigger one. But there's a lot of free classes where you can get like free CPR or free first aid or free blood loss. All of these free classes. And I would just urge all of you guys to take this summer to try to relax and grow and better yourself and learn as much as possible. Take these couple months to try to stockpile information and learn as much as possible about yourself and the world and what's going on out there, and survival stuff. That's really important. And yeah, I might make an episode about how to prepare for the next coming months, because it's going to be nuts. It's going to be absolutely bonkers. So yeah, it might be a good idea to make a video about, how to prepare for coming instability. And remember that we talked about how these moments that seem like disaster movies are all coming, and that it comes into our hands that we can shape the narrative of the future. And again, this is like coming into that sort of stuff. And it starts with the personal change, that you can't just flip a switch and change all of society. It starts individually. So by you guys listening, you're already like doing a lot and learning. But I would all challenge everybody, including myself, to try to continue to learn even more and try to rise to levels of success that you would never even imagine, or knowledge, or to get out there and do something new. Whether it's those like free classes or whatever, you're probably going to find people in your community that are pretty upstanding citizens. If they're at a free CPR meeting, those might be people that you would need to know if anything bad were to happen, or instability or something like that. So yeah, it's really important to get to know your community and find people with similar values and ethics is also extremely important, but difficult. And as well, knowing how to interact and be humble with people that don't have the same opinion as you, because diversity is really important, and having a wide perspective of different perspectives, or wide range of different perspectives is really important, so that you can get a better view of whatever situation that you're going through, because they might have something that you didn't think of that might be way better, or just different, and different stuff works in different situations. So yeah, very interesting episode. I hope that you guys like the news update, and we'll do some more news in the future. There was a whole lot, and there's stuff that I couldn't even put in here, but I figured that this was a pretty cool spread with the ocean theme. Just kind of happened on its own, but that it's funny how that works. So all right, guys, be safe out there and enjoy the summer, and try to learn some more. Learn something tomorrow that you didn't know today.
When I look at the sun going down to other skies, all I want is to be there, with a new state of mind, a place I've never heard of. I will walk like a nomad. I've been stuck inside my house too long. Can't stand being all alone, wasting hours on my phone. stuck inside my house too long. Can't stand being all alone, wasting hours on my phone.